Nice to see your names on the screen. Can't see your faces yet, but hopefully we'll get to say hello at the end of class. We're going to start standing today, clearly. Let's get our feet lined up with our hips. We're going to have those toes parallel. Feet are going to be facing your screen. Let's stand up nice and tall, picturing a string at the crown of the head, drawing all the way up to the ceiling. We're going to reach our fingertips down toward the floor until we feel a little bit of work under those arms. And once we feel a little bit of tension under those arms, let's shift the weight toward the balls of the foot and back toward the heels. Shift it forward. Try to keep your whole foot on the ground as we do this. Shift it back. Forward and back a few more times at your own pace. We're warming up the little muscles inside the feet. And now if we take our hands right to our midsection, we'll feel the trunk muscles, those core muscles working to hold us upright against gravity, keeping us from falling outside of that base of support. Let's take ourselves right back over the ankle joints. We can soften up those knees a little bit, and then we'll move our hands around our waistline, fingertips in front, thumbs in back. And again, standing up nice and tall, let's shift our weight now from foot to foot, side to side. Feel underneath your fingertips and underneath your thumb. Feel those muscles contract, and then maybe release a little bit as we shift from side to side. They'll be working differently on each side as we move toward one side and away from the other. Let's keep our hands where they are, and we'll make some little tiny circles around our base of support. Try to keep those feet flat on the floor, so it's small, small motions. Pay attention especially to your thumbs. What are you feeling under your thumbs? You should feel those muscles in the back, kicking in a little bit to help stabilize you. As we shift, we can switch and go the other direction. Let's make those circles, again, reaching the crown of the head all the way up to the ceiling. Keep it going. We'll circle one more time now, bringing our weight right toward the balls of the feet, toward those toes. Come forward just enough that you can barely unweight those heels, enough that you can slide a paper clip or a little sheet of paper underneath them. Feel those toes working to hold you up. Feel those core muscles under your fingertips working to hold you nice and still. We're going to rise up onto the toes, maybe just a little bit further, maybe up all the way. You decide how comfortable you are coming up nice and tall. We'll hold here, keeping the weight over the balls of the foot for one big breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through your mouth, keeping the weight forward. We'll lower those heels down to the mat. Once those heels are down, we can shift our weight back over the front of the ankle joints again. Hands come down. Let's shake those legs out a bit, and we'll move to one of the edges of your mat. We're going to face lengthwise now. Feet will be about shoulder width apart. Let's stand up nice and tall first. We can soften our knees, take our hands right to the fold of the hips, and let's tip that body forward from your trunk. The crown of the head is going to be pointing toward the wall in front of us, maybe up a little closer to the ceiling if your hamstrings are feeling a little bit less than mobile right now. We're going to pause at that first barrier, wherever you first start to feel those thigh muscles stretching a little bit. And we can bend and straighten our knees a little. Ease those legs toward a straightened position, and then take the tension off. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. We can think about gently drawing the belly up toward the spine as we do this. So straighten and bend one more time. Let's tip our bodies forward a bit more, bending those knees as much as we need to get our hands down toward the floor. And we're going to make our way down to hands and knees. We'll rest with the wrists and shoulders lined up and with the knees and hips lined up here. Hold it here. Let's draw that belly up toward the ceiling. We'll move toward a cat position, curling, looking down toward those thighs, and then let's release. Reversing that curve. Breastbone toward the wall in front of us, tailbone reaching up toward the ceiling. Let's reverse and move through those two positions, arching and curling through a range that feels good to you at your own speed. We'll take 2 more deep breaths, moving at your own pace. Let's come back to a neutral spine position. The belly stays drawn back, and we can wag our tail side to side. Bring a hip toward a shoulder. Let's switch it up, opposite hip toward the opposite shoulder. We'll take it side to side a couple more times, just easing those trunks, easing those segments of your spine into a little bit more mobility in preparation for what we're going to do next. Let's take ourselves right back to neutral. We can bring our feet together, walk those knees apart, and let's draw that bottom back toward the spine and walk our hands toward the front of your mat. You decide how far forward you want to reach those arms. Maybe enough to get a little gentle stretch under the armpits. We can drop our shoulders down toward the floor, take one big breath in, And as we exhale, we're going to drop our forearms and we're going to turn over onto our backs. Once the back of the head's resting on the floor, we can bend up our knees and line them up with our sit bones. The hands will be right down by our sides. Let's creep those fingertips down toward our heels. Again, feeling a little bit of work through those muscles under our armpits, just like we did in standing. Let's hold it there as we draw our chin gently toward the neck, letting the back of the neck lengthen down into our mat. Big breath in here. As we exhale this time, think about widening your collarbones away from the middle of the body, letting the outer borders of those shoulder blades right along the sides of your trunk drop down into the floor. Big breath in again. And this time on the exhale, let's gently draw our bellies toward our spine like we're tightening a seatbelt and muscle between those two bones on either side of your pelvis. Those muscles are going to stay active as we press our hands into the floor. Think about moving from those abdominals as we lift and lower one foot. Barely unweighted. Lift a couple inches up off the floor. Keeping that belly drawn down, we're going to float that foot down. Press that foot into the floor. Let's unweight the other. Let's move them back and forth, side to side at your own speed. Picturing those hip bones pointing toward the ceiling like headlights as we press those blades in the mat. Keep that belly drawn down and continue to alternate unweighting our feet. Here's 4. Here's 3, chin stays knotted. Here's 2. And here's 1. We're going to keep that last leg unweighted off the floor. And we're going to fold from our hip, bringing it up to 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the shins. Draw that belly in a little farther down toward the spine. We're going to pull our bent knee and lifted knee closer to our chest, just enough that it flattens that back slightly. Keeping the belly drawn down, we're going to bring our other knee up to meet that first leg in that tabletop position. You could balance something on those shins and it wouldn't fall. Let's hold this here. Big breath in. Drop that chin down toward the neck. Draw your breastbone down to the floor as best you can. If you're having trouble holding here, we can pull those knees a little closer to the chest to help facilitate getting those core muscles working. We're going to hold them here, and let's take our arms to the ceiling. Palms are going to face in on each other, and those fingertips are going to reach up to the ceiling now. We'll inhale, reaching those hands to the ceiling. Exhale, lowering those blades to the floor. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Let's keep that pattern moving at your own speed. We're keeping that belly drawn down, that back nice and still. If you notice as you reach those hands up and down that you get a little tired, feel free to put a kickstand down. One foot to the floor. Lift and lower those shoulder blades for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. As we draw those blades to the floor and reset that chin down toward the neck, let's take one hand to the same side thigh, the opposite hand to the other thigh, and we're gently going to press our hands and thighs toward each other, building a little bit of pressure, just enough that we feel muscles working from those lowest ribs down toward that pubic bone. Inhale and exhale, pressing through those hands and through those thighs, matching the pressure with each so nothing moves. And then maybe we challenge ourselves a little bit here by maintaining that pressure as we straighten and bend our knees. Again, just like we did in standing with our hip hinge, we're going to straighten and bend those knees to those barriers that we feel. Just the first bit of resistance that we feel. We want to keep that pelvis nice and still. Maybe we find that we can straighten the knees a bit more with every raise. Every time we lift those feet to the ceiling, maybe there's a little more length we can press through those thighs. Let's straighten and bend one more time, pausing in that tabletop position. We're going to take our hands down by our sides, keeping them up at the top level of our trunk, closest to the ceiling. Big breath in. As we exhale, that belly draws down a little bit further. Let's reach our fingertips toward the wall in front of us. Maybe we nod the chin and lift the head. I'll leave that up to you. We're going to hold this position, and then let's gently pat our hands up and down like we're bouncing little tiny basketballs. We'll inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Keep that pattern going. Remember, you could put a foot down for a kickstand to get a little assistance to those abdominals. We can also straighten those legs toward the ceiling to provide a little more challenge. Big breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Let's put those palms over, press that air to the ceiling. Doesn't matter what your leg position is. We can all change up a little bit here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. One more set. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to cross those hands where they are. Keep them facing the ceiling. Let's bend those knees to the tabletop if they're not there already. We can lower the upper body down. Let's keep that chin nodded toward the neck as we do so. And we're going to take that leg farthest from the screen, draw it into the chest, hanging onto it with your hands. We're going to keep those elbows nice and soft as we press our other leg, our free leg, straight out toward the wall in front of us. Keep that belly drawn down. Try to tighten up that thigh as best you can. We'll inhale, bringing that leg back to tabletop. Hang on to it with your shin, with your hand on your shin, and then press that other leg forward. Pull in, press forward. Let's keep that pattern going. Reciprocal motion, one at a time. If you'd like to challenge this for you, we nod that chin, we could lift the head. You want to look towards your outstretched foot as we switch our legs for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's bring those knees into the chest. Belly stays drawn down. We can bring the upper body down if it's been lifted. And now we're going to hang on to that knee closest to your screen. Draw it into the chest as far as you can. And we're going to slide that other free leg straight along that mat in front of us. Hold it there. Drop the back of that knee to the floor if you can. And tighten up the front of the thigh on that straight leg. You should feel a little bit of an opening through that hip flexor on that side, the front of the hip. We're going to switch our hands. Hang on to that bent knee with your opposite hand. We'll take our hand on the bent knee side, press it into the mat about 45 degrees away from your body. We're going to press that hand down, use it to translate our body the other direction. We're going to let that cheek roll up from the floor. You can let everything up into that shoulder blade oscillate to the other side. Maybe we get a little stretch through that glute. We're going to draw it back to the middle. Keep that quad nice and tight on your straight leg. And then holding onto the shin, we can nod the chin. We can lift the head if you'd like, and let's lift our straight leg up and really reach it toward the wall in front of us as we move it in circles. We're going to trace some circles on the wall in front of us. We can switch directions, trace it the other way. Try to keep everything still except for that one moving leg that's moving from that hip joint. We're going to draw that straight leg down to the floor again. We'll bring the upper body and head and neck down if they've been lifted. Pulling the belly in, we're going to switch our legs. Let's pull that straight leg into the chest, hanging onto that shin with your hands. We're going to slide our other leg out straight, tightening up the front of the thigh, feeling some length through that hip flexor as we press the back of the leg into the mat. Let's switch our hands, and we'll draw that other hand down to the floor, 45 degrees of the shoulder away from the body, and let's draw that knee towards your screen, pressing the opposite hand to the floor to control that motion. That cheek can lift up off the mat. We can lift up everything almost all the way to that shoulder blade on the side we're moving away from. Let's rock it side to side twice more. We'll take it right back to the middle. Hang on to the shin with both hands. We nod the chin to the chest. Maybe we lift the head. We'll lift that straight leg off the floor, reaching it toward the wall. And now we can move this guy in circles. Let's draw those toes forward as far away from your head as you can get your foot. Moving out of that hip joint, if you'd like to put your hand on your hip joint to monitor, you're welcome to do so. Let's circle the other way. All right, we're going to stretch that leg forward. Let's keep that leg hovered up off the ground if we can. We're going to roll that upper body down if it's been lifted up, and let's hang on behind our thigh now and stretch that opposite leg toward the ceiling. We're going to keep that lower leg hovered up off the floor if we can as we flex and point. If you keep it hovered, you are working your abs a little bit, and we're taking a little pressure off the hip flexor. You could always bend your knee and put your foot on the floor if you need a little support. Let's point our toes to the ceiling, and drawing that belly down, we can keep a hold of our lifted thigh and take that other straight leg, the one closest to the floor, out to the side and back into the center. Take it side to side. Even if it's a little bit bent, we can do the same thing. Let's draw that leg to the center, hold it there. Draw to the floor, pressing the back of the thigh into the mat. And then if you need to bend your other knee a little bit, that's okay. We're going to take our arms to the ceiling. Hold it there. Keep the bones in the back of the pelvis pressed nice and firmly into the floor as we swing our other leg side to side. Trace a horizontal line on the ceiling with that stretched out foot. And then maybe we switch to circles. If you do want to challenge this, that leg on the bottom, the leg that's on the floor, could be lifted up a bit. We can circle the other way. Let's pause that leg to the ceiling. We'll hold on behind our thigh. Let's draw the other leg up to meet it. Switch our grip, and we'll take that opposite leg almost down to the floor. Again, keeping that belly drawn in. That other heel's hovered slightly off the mat, and we can take it side to side. Again, we're trying to move out of that hip joint. Maybe we nod the chin and lift the head. If you're lifted, you can keep your gaze right in front of that big toe on the moving leg. Stretch that leg forward. We can roll the upper body down if it's been lifted, and let's take that lower leg all the way down to the floor as we bring our arms up. Hold them here. Let's take our lifted leg side to side. Maybe we flex and point a little bit as we go. Ease into that connective tissue on the side of the leg if you feel like you need a little bit of work through there. Let's pause with our legs to the ceiling. We can make some circles. Again, progressing if you'd like by lifting that leg up off the mat again. You could always place your foot down if you do feel you need a little more stability. Let's circle the other direction. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring that leg to the ceiling. Let's hold on behind our thigh. And as we roll those shoulders down, maybe that knee bends a little bit for comfort. Again, we can nod the chin and lift that head. We'll move through our single straight leg stretch. Let's alternate our legs. One leg comes up. Keep the knees at the same angle, whether they're straight or bent. Draw toward the chest, lengthen the other one away. Let's take it up and down, and we'll switch for 4. Switch for 3. Last 2. And last 1. Let's bring those knees up to tabletop. We'll hold on to the kneecaps. We can bring that upper body down if it's been lifted. Let's keep a hold of the kneecaps, but keep those abdominals lengthened and draw down toward the floor. Let's rock the body side to side. We'll just translate it a bit to each side. Keep the belly pulled in. Let's take a breath. And as we exhale, let's drop back to tabletop. Again, maybe pulling those knees in a little bit closer to your trunk if you need the abdominals to have a little bit of a breather, a little bit of rest there. And then we'll take our arms up to the ceiling as well. Let's flex and point our feet, giving those toes a chance to relax. We'll point those toes again, and then that arm closest to the screen is going to open up behind us, and that opposite leg stretches out in front. Let's take them to the center and switch. Center and switch. Keep that going at your own speed. We're going for reaching that overhead arm as far away from our outstretched leg as we can possibly get it. Let's keep it going. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's pull the knees in, draw them into the chest, let the abdominals and those glutes relax. We'll rock the body side to side, massaging out that low back gently. Let's take it right back to the middle. We'll do that backward shoulder roll again to anchor those blades into the mat. Let's hang onto our shins. We'll bring them up to that tabletop position again. Flex those feet just for something different. Get those shins involved. Arms are going to come to the ceiling and those shoulder blades drop to the floor for stability. Let's take those arms back overhead, far as you can with straight elbows. Inhale up to the ceiling and exhale them back. As those arms come back, we're focusing on keeping that breastbone down. That'll encourage those upper abdominals to draw down and help you stay supported for your turn. Overhead, back to the ceiling. Take them overhead, reach them up. We're going to hold them here. Keep that belly drawn down. Keep those legs at tabletop. Now we're going to take the arm closest to the screen out to the side. Take it toward your screen, float it to the ceiling. Take that other arm away, float it to the ceiling, and let's alternate side to side here for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Coming right back to the middle, we'll keep our arms nice and still. Big breath in. Exhale with that belly drawn down. We're going to lower our heels toward the floor. And we'll inhale, lifting them up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift at your own pace. Belly stays down. If this is a little too much, we can go to single leg lowers. Single leg lifts. If you do want a little step ahead, we can take the feet down and the arms back overhead simultaneously. Inhaling up to tabletop. Let's do 3 more of whatever you choose. Here's 3. Open and lift for 2. Open and lift, last 1. We'll pull the knees in, draw them into the chest, and let's rock that body side to side. Again, massaging that low back out. Pulling right back to the middle, we'll roll those shoulders back and down. Take our hands out to the floor with those legs pulled in. And let's straighten our legs to the ceiling, eventually making our way toward an L shape with those legs reached up to the ceiling and the trunk at as close to a 90-degree angle as you can get it. If the knees are a bit bent, that's okay. We're going to press our arms into the floor, and with both legs together, we're going to rock the body side to side. Let's go over some small, quicker motions here. We're using our hands to help press and counterbalance us. You should feel your side muscles working a bit in front. We'll take it side to side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring them back to the middle, and let's circle the feet together. Make a nice clockwise circle on the ceiling with both legs moving together. It's okay if your knees are bent. If they're bent, you're going to feel like you're drawing from a pencil right at those kneecaps. Otherwise, that pencil's coming from your toes. Let's pause at the top, take a big breath in, and on that exhale, we'll circle the other direction. Here's 4, here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's bend our knees to tabletop, flex those feet. We're going to turn the toes away from each other, making a small V with them. We're going to let our knees come away from each other too. So it's almost like a little plie or a little frog position. Hold it here, drawing that belly down. If it's challenging enough, hold it right here. Otherwise, we can pull those knees in toward the armpits. And as we exhale, we can press our legs straight toward the ceiling or slightly forward toward the wall in front of us. Inhale, bend the knees in toward the armpits. Exhale, press them forward, drawing those knees toward each other. 2 more here. Inhale, exhale, press. Inhale, frog. Exhale, press. Let's turn those feet parallel to each other, bend the knees to 90, and we'll draw them into the chest and rock the body side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to the middle, we can roll those shoulders back and down. Let's take our feet down, lining our heels up with our sit bones. We're going to press our hands into the mat. Let's give those abdominals and that lower back a little bit of a break here. We're going to move through our pelvic clock. So picture 12 o'clock up by the breastbone, 6 o'clock by that pubic bone, 3 and 9 on either side. Moving from that midsection, keeping your glutes as relaxed as possible. Let's shorten our pubic bone toward the breastbone, flatten the back toward 12 o'clock. We'll lengthen that pubic bone down towards your heels for 6. Let's move back and forth from 12 to 6 at your own speed. Focusing on what those abdominals are doing for you here. Keep those glutes relaxed. 12 to 6. Let's take ourselves to neutral, and now we'll move the pelvis from side to side on stable legs. The legs will stay nice and still as we take one hip toward 3 o'clock, toward that screen. Opposite hip lifts. Let's shift it the other direction toward 9 o'clock. Rock that pelvis side to side, pressing your feet into the floor. 3 to 9. 3 to 9. One more time to each side. Great. Let's take it right back to the middle, breathing in. On that exhale, our arms are going to come up to the ceiling. Let's slide one leg out straight along the mat. And then let's slide that other leg out as straight as we can get it, feeling like we can control the curve in our back. It's okay to have one. We just want those abdominals to be in control of it. And we'll take our arms to the ceiling. So again, it's okay to have a bend in your knee if that helps you stay more stable. We're going to reach our shoulder blades up to the ceiling and down to the mat, similar to what we did when we first made our way onto our backs at the beginning of class. We're going to keep that chin drawn down. Let's go ahead and take our arms back overhead as far as we can with straight elbows. Maybe they pause halfway. Maybe we have a little bit of room between our thumbs and the floor. Maybe those thumbs touch the floor. You find the range that's working for you. When you find your end range, we're going to again nod the chin down toward the neck. Think about dropping your breastbone down toward the floor. Lowest ribs draw down and that belly button draws down. We're going to hold those connections and keep our hands back overhead as we again take our shoulder blades up to the ceiling, down to the floor. It'll feel like a completely different range of motion. They're rotating a little bit versus wrapping around the sides of the body. Let's take it up and down for 3, for 2, and for 1. We'll anchor those legs to the floor again, and let's move our legs. We'll take one foot up and down, keeping that belly drawn down, pelvis nice and level, and switch it off, lifting the other leg. If those knees are bent, it's going to look and feel more like a march. Let's keep those legs going as we take our arms back up to the ceiling. We'll lift and lower the legs for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Taking those feet to the floor or just the legs straight out to the floor in front of you. Let's take our arms back overhead, turn your palms to the ceiling, and we're going to make some snow angels. If you're a little tight in your chest or your trunk in general, it's okay if the hands are lifted a little bit above trunk height. We'll make a nice circle out to the side, overhead, and down to the mat. Leaving our hands down by our side, let's lift those palms to the floor, bend up our knees. We'll turn toward our screen and over onto hands and knees again. Okay. You're welcome to double up your mat if you like a little more padding for your knees. And once we're up here, we're going to reset. We're going to set that belly to spine. Think about gently drawing your spine towards your belly as well. And we're going to push up and down through our shoulder blades. Keep those elbows as straight as you can. We can squeeze the blades together, press the blades forward. Squeeze them behind the back, unsqueeze them as they come to the floor. Squeeze and press, squeeze and press. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to press those legs to the floor. Let's move to single arm. We're going to shift the body slightly away from our screen. Take the hand to the thigh, squaring off those shoulders, and we're going to squeeze and press through our single arm that we're bearing weight through. Squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. 2 more here. Squeeze and press. Let's switch those arms. We'll take our other hand down. The wider you can make those hands, think jazz hands, the more you'll be able to disperse the forces and keep pressure off your wrists. We're going to take that other hand up to your thigh, square the shoulders off, and again, we'll squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. 3 more times. Here's 3. Here's 2, here's 1. We're going to take that second hand down to the floor. Let's turn the toes under a little bit, pressing the balls of the feet into the mat. You might get a little stretch in your Achilles or a little stretch behind your big toe. Let's rock that bottom toward the heels. You again go through a range that feels good. And if this doesn't feel great on your toes, you're welcome to turn your feet in the other direction. Just working for a little mobility here. Good. Let's shift the weight side to side. Press the weight through your big toes, through your feet if you can. Let's take it back to the center. We'll turn those tops of the toes down again. And let's take one leg back and the opposite arm out in front. Let's switch this through at your own pace. Picturing balancing something right in the small of your back. And we'll alternate through here. Let's hold it at that next diagonal. Hold it nice and still. Let's bend our knee in toward our belly button. Bend that elbow in towards your knee. Stretch them out away from the body. Hold them in. Stretch them forward. Pull them in. Stretch them forward. Let's take the hands down, the knees down, and we'll switch it up to the other side. We'll take that opposite leg back. Stretch the other arm forward. Let's bend that elbow and knee toward each other. Stretch them away. Again, we're going for the goal of keeping that trunk nice and neutral. We can balance something on it as we move those legs. One more time here, bend them in. Straighten out. We can take our hand down. We can take that knee down. Let's shake out our wrists for a second. We can bring the bottom back toward the heels a little bit. Come down to the forearm. Shake those wrists out again. All right. Let's breathe it in here. We'll exhale our way back to hands and knees. Scoot forward a little bit more on your mat. Give your legs a little bit more room behind you. And then we reset belly to spine. We're going to take one leg straight back behind the body. Keeping that thigh nice and still, we're going to lift the leg up. Take it out to the side. Bring it back in line with the body and touch the toes down. Lift, take it to the side, center, and down. Lift, side, center, and down. One more time here. Lift, take it to the side, back to the center. Toes come down. Let's bring that knee back in line with the other, and we'll switch it up. Opposite leg slides back. Lift up that straight leg. We'll take it to the side, to the center, touch it down. Lift, side, center, and down. 2 more here. Side, center, and down. Last one. Lift, take it to the side, back to the center, take it down. Let's bend those knees again. We're going to walk our bodies back to the center of our mat. And then keeping our knees right where they are, let's lower down to our forearms. Remember, if you're not comfortable with your head lower than your hips, you're welcome to come back up to hands and knees for our next series. Find your position. We're going to keep our knees bent and take that leg closest to the screen, up to the ceiling, and down to the mat. Lift it up, lower it down. 2 more here. Lower, lift it, and lower. Let's lift and hold. We'll keep that thigh still. Straighten the knee. Bend the heel to the bottom. straighten, and bend. 2 more here. Last one, straighten, and bend. We're gonna pulse that foot to the ceiling, squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll float that side back down, and let's switch them up. Let's take that opposite knee, bend it up, reach the leg to the ceiling, control that knee to the mat. Raise it up, control it down. 2 more here. Last one, lift it up, lower it down. Lift and hold that thigh still. We'll straighten and bend our knee. Heel to the bottom. Straighten, heel to the bottom. 2 more here. Last one, straighten and bend. We'll come back to 90 degrees. Pulse the foot to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that knee back down. Feet come together, knees come apart. Let's lower the bottom down toward the heels, and we'll walk our hands forward toward the front of the mat. Let's lower that forehead down, breathing in again. Exhale. Let's walk our hands toward our screen. We'll take one hand on top of the other. Breathe into the opposite side of your rib cage. Let everything expand. We can exhale as we walk our hands to the other side of the mat. Big breath in. Exhale. Let's walk our hands to the center of the mat again. We'll come up nice and tall. Let's make our way onto our bottoms. We're going to bend our knees. Sitting up nice and tall, getting that trunk as vertical as we can. Hang on behind those thighs. And we're going to tip that body back just a bit so we have a little bit of an angle. We're going to draw the belly back a little farther and then take our hands in line with our thighs. Let's press our hands and our thighs toward each other. Feel some muscles working in those lower abs as we hold here. We're going to straighten and bend the knee, keeping some pressure through those hands. Hold it there. That pressure through the knees is going to offset what sometimes happens, makes the back work a little too hard. Keep that belly drawn in. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you could take your hands away from those knees. Alternate. Maybe we use some leverage. Maybe we work our trunk a little harder by taking those arms up. Hold them here. Last 2 lifts. Take those feet down. We're going to take our hands back to our thighs. Press the hands and thighs toward each other. Let's open up the arm closest to your screen. Feel the opposite side of your trunk working. Hold you still. We'll bring that arm back to the center and then switch it up. Opposite arm out. Sweep it to the center. Arm opens up. Sweep it to the center. One more time on the other side. Let's take it back to the middle. Hang on to those shins. We'll come up nice and tall for a seated cat and cow. Let's come up nice and tall. We'll keep our bodies vertical now. We're going to take our hands down to the mat behind us. Again, as always, we could have those fingertips facing forward towards your feet, or the hands could be facing out toward your screen. If you like that better, we're going to straighten our elbows and squeeze those blades together. If you still have a little bit of room to move, a little slack in your system, you can inch those bottoms forward towards your heels. You want to go to the point where you get a little stretch through that biceps, through the front of the arm, and also a little stretch through the front of the shoulder, maybe even all the way to that breastbone. We're going to hold that stretch point there. And I want you to think about lifting your breastbone toward the upper corner of the wall and ceiling in front of you. Hold it there. Let's take a few breaths. One more big breath in. Exhale, keeping those blades squeezed. If you'd like to make this more challenging, we can inch your feet a little closer to your bottom. We could lift that bottom up, maybe all the way into a reverse tabletop position. You decide how much you want to lift your legs, if at all. Lift that bottom. Take a big breath in and a big breath out, whether that bottom is down or lifted. One more time, big breath in. Exhale. Let's slowly bring that tailbone down to the mat. We'll unweight those wrists and hands. Shake out those wrists as we turn and face our screen. You're welcome to roll those hands out a bit. We're going to take a seat cross-legged for a few exercises here. If this is a tough positioning for your hips or for your back, you're welcome to find a small stool to sit on or even a chair to sit on for some side bends that we're going to do here. Either is completely appropriate. Regardless of what we're doing with those legs, if you're on your chair, not high, that's okay. We're going to take our hands down by our sides. The crown of the head's reaching up nice and tall. We'll take a big breath in. Belly draws down as we exhale and take a side bend. Nice tall side bend. Inhale up tall. And exhale, side bend the other way. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, side bend. Let's come up nice and tall. We're going to cross those arms over the chest. Staying up nice and tall. We're going to take one arm. We're going to reach it to the other side. Let your body rotate. And we'll come back to the center. Switch it up and rotate. Take it back to the center. One more time to each. Rotate and center. And rotate and center. Let's take our hands down. We'll roll those shoulders back. And we're going to come up to kneeling. If you'd like to have a little more padding, let's fold that mat towards you a little bit. Give your knees some padding. We'll come up nice and tall. We're going to take our hands right to the folds in our hips, so we're going to take one leg out to the side. Draw those hips down until you feel a little stretch through the thigh. We're going to hold this here, and we're going to move through our side lunging series a little bit differently today. We're going to make it more of a flow, do a couple different motions together. With those hands on the hips, let's hinge forward, find that stretch point through your thigh. Once you're there, we'll take our hands to the floor. We're going to open up the arm on the bent knee side, take it down to the mat. We'll open up the arm on the straight knee side, take it down to the mat. Hands come to your thighs. We'll come up nice and tall and take those arms out. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend towards your bent knee. Maybe lifting that leg up. And we'll take it over toward our straight knee. Let's come up nice and tall. We're going to roll through to the other side. Let's come through kneeling. We'll take that opposite leg out. Square off those hips. And we're going to take a big breath in. Exhale, hinge forward with that trunk. Take your hands to the floor. Arm comes out on the bent knee side. Take it back down. Arm comes out on the straight leg side. Take it back down. Hands right to the hips. We'll come up nice and tall. Bring those arms out to the side. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend towards your bent knee. Maybe that leg comes up. We'll take it up and side bend toward that straight leg. Let's come up nice and tall. We'll bring those knees together and roll those shoulders back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's make our way down to the mat, onto our side. We're going to rest the upper body on that arm. Knees forward, heels lined up with the bottom. We're going to take our hand down, rest it on the floor first. Bottom knee presses down. We'll take our top knee up and down for clamp. 2 more here. Knee comes down, press your top hand into the floor. Both knees lifted lower for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, feet lift. Again, that top knee lifts and lowers. 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees and feet come down. Let's straighten those legs out. We'll lift that top leg up to hip height. We're going to take it up, lower it down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Let's circle. Other direction, circle. Let's hold that leg there. We'll bring our bottom leg up to meet it. Take them up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Bend up those knees. Let's pat our hip out. All right, we're going to make our way up and over to the other side. We'll rest on that bottom arm. Bend those knees. Press your top knee down. Top knee lifts up and down for clamp. 2 more. Lift and lower. Hand presses into the floor. We lift both knees together for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down. Lift those feet. Top knee again lifts up and down. Lift and lower. 2 more here. Lift and lower. Knees come down. Let's straighten those legs out. Top leg comes up. And we'll lift and lower. Lift and lower. Try to adjust from that hip joint. Only as far as that hip lets you move. Take it to hip height and we'll circle. 3, 2, reverse it. Here's 4, 3, 2. Hold it there. Bottom leg comes up. We'll take them down and up together. Last one's here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Bend those knees. Let's pat our hip out. We'll turn to our backs. All right. Let's take a few breaths here. Maybe we close our eyes, settle down into the mat. Let's cross one leg over the other. Hold it here. Rock that body side to side. Take it back to the middle. Let's unwind. Opposite leg comes in. Draw that knee out. Take him side to side. Let's take them back to the middle. We can pull those knees in. Big breath in. On the exhale, we'll make our hands and knees. Make our way to hands and knees. Let's follow up with one last cat and cow. Reset that core. Let's turn those toes under. Walk ourselves back up to our feet. Once the weight's over the front of the ankles, we can come up nice and tall. And let's move to the center of our mat. We'll finish up with a little bit of balancing. We'll line our heels up with our hips. Let's shift the weight over the ankles. Front of the ankles. We'll lift our toes up. Let's spread them apart. Take them down one at a time. Let's shift the weight. We're going to stand heel to toe. If you'd like to find something to hold on to, please find a wall, a chair, a sofa. Let's hold it here. Maybe we close our eyes if you're somewhere where you feel safe to try that. Breathing out, let's switch those legs. Heel to toe. Hold it there. Big breath in. Exhale, maybe we close our eyes again. Opening up those eyes, let's move to single leg balance. Hold it there. Shift the weight toward the toes, and again, maybe we challenge ourselves further. Let's take it up and down. Keep the weight toward the ball of the foot. That helps ensure success. Even if you're only lifting up a tiny bit, switch those feet. We'll move to our other side. Shift it forward, and again, we'll take it up and down. Keep that weight forward. Even if you're not planning on lifting up and down on your toes, keep that weight toward the ball of the foot. Let's just shake this up a little. Let's take that second foot down. We'll shake those knees out. Feet are a little wider than our shoulders. Let's close with a big breath in, taking those palms toward each other. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll take our hands right to the breastbone. And good job today, you guys. We mixed things up a little bit. I hope everybody enjoyed class, and I look forward to seeing y'all next time.